Brilliant.
Okay, so this is a thought space that I'm using. I use it. I keep mentioning this BNI organization, but it's basically business networking. So this is a thought space that develops as I link to people and as I start to have conversations, discussions, whatever. Now, as I'm living in this thought space now, continuously, because it's become my sort of my thought wall, if you like.
Yes.
I've discovered I never used this when I first started to use Thortspace. A very easy way to navigate something that becomes quite complicated is to create journeys.
Yes.
And just move to them and then go back to present or think and
Yes.
start to work. So I've created a group, which is a group, I just called it web resources, of frequently accessed platforms that I use when I'm using this thought space. So instead of having to go out of it and look for something in a Chrome browser, I've got my frequently used web resources linked here. So I can just, now it won't work for the screen share here, because I think if I jump to a Chrome page, you won't see it, you will only see the thought space. But basically, that's become like a hub of navigation into web resources that I'm using to supplement my work in this. So for instance, there's a wakelet, etc.
Right.
So step one in my learning curve from 2 weeks ago was to find that this is a platform that I can live in and day out and just conduct all of my, particularly my online, although I use it face to face as well, to discuss with somebody, and then from this web resource portal or group, be able to navigate to something that I need. So that was the first, and the ease of creating a journey. So if I went back to this journey and I looked at this, there's my web resources in a group. Here's a jump to it, and now I've started to use another sphere linked to the main sphere.
Yes.
For this is activities that I do with international people separate from. And then I found Thortspace is quite a brilliant tool to use as a what's the word, a hub of access. I need to think of a fancy term for that. So for instance, I've started to create a group here of links to wakelets I'm developing related to newsletters. Okay, now the thing is quite complex, but I'm getting to understand it. So the present mode, journey, move to a particular area has proved to be a great navigation tool to me.
Yes.
And then go back and start working in here.
Lovely.
Another thing I've added here is 2 links to my video conferencing platform. So if I suddenly wanted to jump into a video conference with you, I just open this thing and I've sort of marked them and added pictures so they stand out when I'm zoomed out. And this is proving a fantastic working tool. Let's jump back to that one. And go into here. This is proving absolutely brilliant to work with people. So you can see here, I was working with this guy yesterday.
Yes.
Developing another group which was a focused set of links that I want to work with him. So, as against 2 weeks ago saying, you know, I love this tool for a bit of a think tank, but I can't see a practical application. People who now engage with me see a practical application.
Yes.
This is my now.
You're sort of doing you're sort of managing your engagement with people.
Exactly. And as I engage with you,
and it's all visual. It's all visual in front of you, so you can see kind of what you're doing and who you're engaging with and what you're engaging with them about, and you can go straight away to the different resources that you want to bring into that.
Exactly. So, for instance, these two thoughts here, Thortspace and developers, are two network groupings, local in Johannesburg, that I deal with on a very frequent basis. And each one of these links takes me to the website of, in the Bindon organization, we're very fortunate to have a very strong social media presence. So I can jump to the website, and if you, Andrew Bindon, were a member of this chapter, I would click on your member details and bring you in as a linked thought here, and then start a series of engagements with you, working out a plan, a project, or whatever. Now, this particular guy is a civil engineer, and he's looking for town planners, architects, property developers. So I can from this go, eventually this will become another sphere, I think.
Right.
So, now the only problem from a marketing point of view is this, and you know, every day this becomes a bit more populated.
Yes.
But if you hadn't seen Thortspace, this could be a bit off-putting to you as being a very complex picture. So what I was thinking, and I wanted to ask you a question on this, and actually this, and I don't think it matters, there's no contact detail. But I've got to be very careful, I think, publishing stuff like this, in publishing any contact details with, you know, GDPR and all of this.
Yes, absolutely.
I can't afford to do that. But then what I was thinking is it possible if, say, I created an arrangement? In fact, I've got one arrangement here. Let's jump to it. You can see things disappear off the screen. Come back again. But say this, or even in this state, it's quite complicated. If I created another arrangement and simplified this sphere a lot, and took off it any sensitive, potentially sensitive information.
Yes.
Is it possible then to, so let's go back to arrangements. So the initial arrangement is your default arrangement that you start with. Yes. These are, if I developed a, I call it strat one, but let's call it a simple picture. And I created an arrangement where I deleted some of the complexity and some of the sensitive information off this. Is it possible to copy that sphere and then make the simple picture its default arrangement? In other words, could I? Yes, I can. I can delete initial.
Yeah, you can delete initial, but I don't think that isn't going to delete. Oh gosh, I'm not actually sure, but I think that is, you're not going to lose any thoughts by deleting arrangements. I think they're just going to become unarranged. If you look on your search tab, can you just go to the search tab? I'll show you something. On the search tab, you see how you've got at the top, you've got spheres and thoughts.
Yeah.
Go to thoughts, you've got arranged thoughts, and then if you click the arrow next to arranged thoughts, okay, so go to the other arrangement. Go to strat 1, or yeah, go to strat 1. Now go back to search and to thought. Yes, and now you can see your unarranged thought. Right? So for any given arrangement, you've got a set of so-called arranged thoughts. Those are the ones that are included in the arrangement, and you've got unarranged thoughts, which are part of the sphere, but are not included in that particular arrangement.
Okay.
So
Well,
I think what happens when you delete the arrangement is you won't delete the thoughts; they'll just become unarranged thoughts.
Okay. Well, then that's not a problem. Then there's another way around it. Because what I was thinking is, this is my working, my working space. My
Yes.
think space. My think wall. My whatever. It's going to get more and more complicated, which for me is fine because I know how to navigate. And where I'm getting into problems with navigation, I will just add another view to whatever. Okay.
Yes.
Not a problem. However, if I now wanted, which I'm keen to do this, is to at some stage start writing some articles about how Thortspace can be used in practical applications.
Yes.
I want to then have a public and use journeys,
Yeah.
published journeys. So
Yes.
what I would need to do then is rather copy from my, so if I went
Yeah.
here,
if you go to the main, yeah, if you go to
say I did that,
and
I said copy that group and paste it into a new sphere.
yes.
I can then create my demonstration sphere without having any sensitive information in it, and by simplifying it, this is lesson 1, if you like.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you?
It does make complete sense. I mean, if you want a sphere that is very similar to a sphere that you've got already, but just with some content removed, possibly a quicker thing to do would be to just copy the whole sphere. If you go to the main menu next to and then you can copy the whole sphere, and then you could just delete out from the copy. Sorry. First of all, you copy the sphere. The copied sphere will then appear on your sphere search list at the top, and it will say copy of BNI chapter working copy.
Yeah.
And then you can delete out, anything that you want to remove from there, and then publish that new sphere, the copy, and possibly for your own benefit, you could then link that copy back to the original sphere, so that you've got it as a linked sphere. You could then make one of those spheres public, so people will just see the public one, right?
So just let me understand.
Sorry, the public people in general will just see the public one, because you can.
So just So I understand. So in this one now, I've got two linked spheres.
Yes.
I could make one of these public, is what you're
You can make one of them public, exactly, but not the other one. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah. And then, yes, exactly. Yeah. Because the publicness is done on a sphere by sphere basis. Whether or not something is public is done on a sphere by sphere basis. And sharing also is done on a sphere by sphere basis.
This is brilliant.
But you can have lots of spheres together, you can have lots of spheres linked together, some of which you've made public and some of which you haven't. And then you will see all of them, and people in general will just see the ones that have been shared with them or that have been made public. But you can have the spheres in your network that you see, which is, you know, everything that you've got access to.
Well, then you've just given me the next stage. Then the next stage would be, and just let me understand that. If I want to add a sphere to this sphere,
Yes.
a linked sphere,
yes.
but it's a new sphere, I have to go and create it.
You can, the fourth button across, you can just create a one that's already linked.
That's to link to one that's in
Yeah,
existence.
that will add a new sphere linked to the current sphere. So if you put in a name for it, it looks like you need to
just
and then zoom out. Sorry, it's sort of gone. It's it's sort of right in front of you. And now it's going into neighborhood mode. If you here's the thing to do is that's it.
Now this is perfect. You've just shortened the journey considerably, because my thinking of making arrangements and then copying spheres and deleting, all I need to do now is in this, just think of a good term for this thing, my think tank, my thought tank, my whatever. This is what I'm not too clear on. No, that's how I do it. Is I must just now start populating public copy.
Yes.
With extracts from this that are simple to explain and non-sensitive information.
Yes, right.
And then when I'm ready, public copy, I'll rename it something else.
Yes.
Becomes the sphere I start to talk about, write articles about. Brilliant. Brilliant. Okay, well that's where I'm at. So I reckon now the other thing that's happening is, and we've got a very funny 2 weeks in South Africa. Wednesday, 2 days ago, was a public holiday because it was Workers' Day.
Yes.
And then unlike you've got Monday as a public holiday. We've got next Wednesday as a public holiday. But it's because it's our national election day.
Okay.
There's a lot of not uncertainty, but you know, building up to an election is a big thing. So there's very disruptive work patterns happening at the moment, which is quite costly. But for the following week, I have got some demos running, presentations running in groups of these, where this activity of creating these contact spheres and starting step one of my journey, I'm going to be teaching other people. So I think by the end of May, I'm going to be in a position to start publishing I'm hopeful, some pretty interesting articles and demos of how this can transform a business person's life, which I'm sure will be good news to you guys.
Yes, that'll be excellent news.
So what I need to do is just make myself a journey of what we've discussed today and how I'm going to do it so I can remember it. This is it's superb, this program, I can't tell you. It is absolutely superb. So that's where I'm at.
Lovely.
You've been a huge. I posted a post the other day. I'll post another one. These, I'm really appreciative of the time you've given to me.
Very welcome.
I'm calling you my mentor.
Yeah.
But even today, you see, between us, we've worked out a very simple process, which is quite an elegant process to, it's not very elegant to start copying spheres and then deleting off them and that sort of business. It's far more elegant to use linked spheres.
Yes.
And particularly now I've discovered that must have been a question at the back of my mind, but I didn't know how to frame it. But the ability now to say, well, I'll make that one public.
Yes.
And that one will be my public journeys, my public articles, is quite an elegant solution. Because it's not very elegant. You can see, how many spheres I've created over my lifetime. But
yes,
this is not a very elegant way of well, some of them are copied spheres from other people.
Yes.
It's not a very elegant. So, very productive session from my side. Thank you very much.
Lovely. Thank you very much. That's very, very helpful.
If you want to make it public, I don't think I've said anything that I'm embarrassed about or is sensitive information.
No, I'm pretty confident that you haven't too. And so that's very helpful. Thank you. Yeah.
I know she's quite busy. She's had a few gigs lately, but I sent a message to Jane last week saying, if you want to join Andrew and I on Friday, I'm just gaining so much knowledge out of these two or three sessions.
Yes, well, hopefully she can at least watch the video if I put it in the Facebook group, and maybe should we plan to do another one in 2 or 3 weeks' time, or?
I think let's leave it for 2. Let's do it in 3 weeks' time.
3 weeks' time after all the commotion.
I'll tell you for why. Next week's a disruptive week. The following week, I've got the opportunity to do a couple of presentations and get some feedback on how it's received. And then by then, 3 weeks' time, I'll have this thing published, this public copy populated. So we can start, I'd like to write a series of articles, almost like a step-by-step process. What was the other thing I was just going to say to you then? Oh, the other fancy thing I'm doing, but I can't show you on a screen share the way I'm showing because you won't see it. But I've almost got double loops in this. In that, let me just find that again. Journey, web resources. This takes me to various web resources, one of which is a wakelet.
Yes.
It's describing in a different format, in a newsletter type format, this journey. But the interesting thing is that wakelet. So that takes me to the wakelet. But in the wakelet is a link back to the Thortspace.
Yeah.
And eventually that will become a public journey with a commentary. But at the moment, I'm able to jump to my wakelet, put something in there, and then jump back. I'm also starting to use, you can see them here, because I'm a very visual person, pictures.
Yes.
Not necessarily my hand-drawn pictures. For instance, there is, my picture, because that's
Yeah.
my conference call. So that's also helping me visually as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's very helpful.
Do I call you sensei?
And we'll try and get more people in 3 weeks' time. If they see how beneficial and useful this call was, maybe they'll get the idea and want to join in.
I think it takes a while
Yeah.
to get traction.
Yeah.
But I think it would be hell of a beneficial if some other people came in, because we'd get a pooling of ideas. Somebody would say, well, I'm not doing that, but I'm doing this.
Yes.
And there'd be the synergy, there'd be the 1 + 1 = 3.
Yeah. Yeah, very good. So.
Okay. Well, thanks very much, Andrew.
Thank you very much.
You and the rest of your day and your weekend.
And
I'll
you.
keep in touch. I'll keep in touch.
Great.
But plan for 1 to 3 weeks today.
Fantastic. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.